So very right. I think in the corporate context, it's probably the most difficult thing for most people to do. They probably develop some attachment which they cannot let go. And,
They're like grandmothers.
like grandmothers. Like grandmothers. So
They were ready to die, but once the grandchild comes, they don't want to die.
it's wonderful. Wonderful. Again, in the corporate context, you learn, you devote, and you work. My interpretation of Gyan, Bhakti, Karma. Is that right, or we need to sequence it differently in a corporate context, or is there something else that we need to understand from these three words, because they hold a lot of importance in a whole lot of things that you have actually talked about, and I'm trying to seek what this, how this could be used in a corporate context.
So this is relevant for any context. Whether you're a corporate leader or a political leader or a spiritual leader or whatever, or you're just one little thing you have started, you're not a leader of anything, it doesn't matter who you are, for everybody it's relevant in the sense, you can only work with what you have. You cannot work with something that you do not have. You can work towards something that you do not have, but you cannot work with what you do not have. Am I clear? We can work towards something that we do not have, but we cannot work with what we do not have. We can only work with what we have. So right now when I say what we have, the only things that you have as a human being right now is your body, your mind, your emotion and your energies. These are only four things you have. Rest is all imagination. Imagination helps to sleep well tonight, you know. You're tensed up because of whatever is happening in the corporate world or in the share market or whatever else, then you say, this is all God's will. You can sleep well, it's a good tranquilizer. You know, when Marx said, it is the opium of the masses, people took it as something negative. It is not a negative thing. Lot of people are able to sleep only because they believe in God, otherwise they wouldn't be able to sleep. This is a very inexpensive psychiatry, you understand? Really. If you go to the modern psychiatrist, he can take only one client at a time and he needs furniture. You know? This is an inexpensive psychiatry. Wherever you are, whichever part of the world, nobody is around you, you say, God is with me, you can sleep well tonight. So, without this, most minds would break. It will take an extremely clear mind to exist here without the help of an outer agency. All others need it. So I don't wish to destroy that support for anybody, but you must decide, are you looking for solace in your life or are you looking for a solution in your life? If you're looking at solutions, there is another way to approach. If you're looking for solace, just believing something always helps. So when you are a leader, I believe, it's eroding these days looking at many leaders, but when somebody says he's a leader, I believe he's a solution for millions of people who are not able to find a solution by themselves for whatever reasons. Yes? That's what a leader is supposed to be. But right now, in this country, you can become a leader if you create a problem. You don't have to find any solutions. Please don't take my advice, nobody should take my advice, okay? Because you're Mumbaikars, I'm afraid of you. See, if you want to become a leader, by tomorrow morning you want to be a recognized leader, by midday, by the time the midday paper comes, by 12 o'clock tomorrow, you want to be a recognized leader in Mumbai, just, hire one segment, you don't need the whole hall. One segment of these people, maybe on 100 people, go, half of you block one main artery, ceiling. Why? It's easy to block. You block the ceiling and block one important rail route. By midday tomorrow, by the time midday comes out, you will be a leader in Mumbai. You build 10 ceilings, you will not be a leader in this country. You just block one or you break one instant. So this is something that has to change in the nation's consciousness, that people who create problems, we are identifying them as leaders. This is a hangover from the Satyagraha days of Mahatma Gandhi. But Mahatma Gandhi was putting spanner in the works for an occupation force. Every day he will call for non-cooperation, satyagraha, he will fast and putting spanner in the works essentially. Their industry, their business, if it flourishes too much, he will put spanner in the works so that there is an impetus for them to leave, so that it's not too lucrative for them to stay forever. That's understandable, it was fantastic technology, without killing people, without fighting a war, an effective way of doing it, and he did it successfully, that's great. But that hangover is not gone in us today. Even today, I see chief ministers who are fighting for their right to call for a bandh. Stopping the nation is one kind of technology, making it happen is another kind of technology. But there is going to be respite for us, because this whole leadership business, if you look at it, say a few hundred years ago, the most dominant leadership on the planet was always religious leadership. Then slowly transited into the hands of military leadership. From there, in the last 150 years, gradually it moved into the hands of democratic leadership. And now, in the last 2 decades, and particularly in the coming 2 decades, you will see leadership will largely move into the hands of economic leaders, business leaders. They will dominate, already it's beginning to happen. So we have moved from the shackles of religious dogma to the tyranny of military leadership to the confoundedness of democratic leadership. Now will the business leadership deliver? That's a question.